I stalked my husband for 2 years before I formally met him. I am not the oop. Oop is you, hot relation 899. Oop has since deleted her account. I stalked my husband for 2 years before I formally met him. Originally posted to off my chest. Original post June 30th, 2023. I, 24F. Married my husband, 28M. About a year and a half ago. The first time I saw my husband I was a freshman in high school. He was a freshman in college. He was walking his dog at the park when he stopped to talk to my brother, 27M, because they happened to go to high school together. That was the moment I became hooked. That same day I found his Instagram, his family's social media, and also where he lived since my brother offered to walk him home while I tagged along. When I got home that day I knew I wanted him. But of course I was only 14 while he was 18. So I came up with a plan. I found out his younger brother was only 1 year younger than me and would be attending my current high school. I figured that I had to befriend his younger brother by any means possible next year when he moves up as a freshman while I become a sophomore. And I did. It took around halfway of my junior year where we became best friends and he invited me over regularly to his house to hang out. This is where I was able to befriend my current husband's mom. And God did she love to talk about him. From her, I found out what college he goes to, his past girlfriends, what his elementary, middle school was, his favorite, least favorite foods, his pet peeves, what he likes, etc., etc. Eventually, when my visits started getting more and more frequent, I formally met current husband again. Current husband, I'll call him E, would come over every other week and stay for either Friday, Sunday, or Saturday to Sunday. On those days specifically I would wear my cutest outfits to impress him, and also joke around with him a lot. Eventually I befriended him as well. A little background on E. He is the school record holder for a certain sport at my school, which I just so happened to do. And around halfway through my senior year E came back during the season to help coach the current high school athletes, which included me, in order to get some more volunteer work hours in. And I got to spend a lot more time with him. I loved every second of it. We were friends before, but then we became much closer since I got to spend lots of extra time with him after school, where sometimes he would even drive me home since we lived relatively close. Fast forward to when I had to move away to NYC for college. He moved with me since he coincidentally got a job near my college. Edit. I lied. It wasn't a coincidence. I found out he got a job offer and applied to a college nearby his workplace. Being each other's only friends in a new state, we became incredibly close. We started dating when I was almost a sophomore year of college. He proposed to me after I graduated, and we just got married almost a year ago. He knows absolutely nothing about how I truly know him, and believes it is fate that brought us together through his younger brother. Lately I have been debating on whether or not I should tell him, or at least his younger brother, the truth, since the only reason I befriended him was to get closer to E. I feel guilty every time he tells others our love story, because the truth is, I've known him for 10 years, while he's only known me for about 7. Update. I read a reply saying that the best thing for myself is to keep it a secret, which is what a lot of people are saying. But the best thing for him is to tell him. And I figured that person really is right. I will be telling him this Tuesday on his day off. He deserves to know who he married. Update July 6, 2023. I told him this 4th of July. After the fireworks mostly ended and we were heading back, I asked him in the car, wouldn't it have been weird if we met each other before the first time we actually met? But we just didn't think of each other as significant at the time. He smiled and turned to me saying, "Peefed, that's impossible. There's no universe where we would have met and I would not think of you as significant. That statement struck me in the heart, because I knew I would soon prove that sentence very wrong. But I continued on with my plan anyway. What if I told you we have met each other before? Before that time I was introduced as E's little brother's friend. He looked at me like I was crazy. So that's when I pulled over on the side of the road and pulled out my phone to show him the post I put up here before. That explained everything. He took about 8 minutes to read the whole thing. And when he finished he put the phone down and stared straight ahead. Almost like he was dumbfounded, scared, and confused all at the same time. I started throwing out every excuse and apology I could muster at the moment for about 15 minutes. Straight when he decided to tell me to stop. And I did. Then he just sat there and sobbed uncontrollably for about 10 minutes before he finally asked me how much of our relationship, and how much of my identity, was fabricated according to his liking. I told him the honest truth. None of my personality or identity was fabricated for him, except for the fact of how we met. The only thing I ever changed about myself to make him like me more was lying about liking Chinese food. I hate Chinese food. But other than that everything else was real. Although my friendship with his younger brother was built upon ill intentions. My friendship between his brother and I are now one of the most genuine friendships I have now. He just cried and told me that he does not want a divorce at all. But he does want us to have some time apart so that he could absorb the truth that I gave him. He also said that he expects me to tell his brother and mom this Friday because they deserve to know the truth just as much as he did. I told him okay, and we drove the rest of the ride home in silence. When we got home he hugged me and cried for about 5 minutes before he got out the car, packed his stuff, and said that he will be staying at a nearby hotel for now. He said that he knows that he still loves me, but does not yet know how to react to the fact that the beginning of our relationship was very orchestrated. To sum it all up, I guess telling him was a success? I honestly don't know. He sent me a good night and I love you text last night while he was at the hotel. So I guess he's no as much mad as he may be betrayed. Update 2. Woke up this morning to find out that hubby not only lied about going to a hotel to stay at, but also lied about not wanting a divorce. Through a text message, he went to his family's home, not a fucking hotel, told them the entire story himself. Probably exaggerated it too to make me seem crazy. His whole family wants nothing to do with me too. Claims I'm psycho. He said that he lied about going to a hotel because he knew if he told the truth I would try to stop him. Honestly, I feel so betrayed. I tried to be a good wife by showing him the true me. And this is what he does? I did all this work just for it to end up like this? Honestly, I kind of deserve it. I didn't even tell him in the first place because I felt bad. I told him because I had a suspicion that he was catching on to the fact that I knew him for 2.5 years before he knew me. Largely because I found out he was keeping my old phone in his work desk. My old phone that has screenshots of a lot of his old Instagram posts. Plans in my notes app about him, etc. So I guess he never truly loved me if he can't even get past an honest confession like this one. I might update this in a few years when I find a new husband lol. This is a repost sub IAM not the oop. Rarely am I left speechless on Reddit these days, but this story. I might update this in a few years when I find a new husband lol. Watch this space everyone. Told them the entire story himself. Probably exaggerated it too to make me seem crazy. What could he have possibly said that made her sound more crazy? I once dated a girl who I happened to have walk into my work after not seeing each other for over 10 years. Turns out she had been stalking me and had been going to every business in the area that looked like the one I was standing in front of for a group photo. I pretty much reacted to it as well as Oops X. And I wondered just like now why she thought it was an okay thing to admit, let alone do. Don't do this. It's creepy ASF. Makes you wonder if she's already started her dossier on husband number 2. I hope this is a troll lol. It looks out of the Netflix TV series. If it's true, I doubt she'll ever stop stalking him. Oop is crazy. Poor husband probably lied because he didn't know what she was capable of. He probably thought she would hurt him if he said he was gonna divorce her ass. She is absolutely unhinged, and I'm scared for any man she may date or marry in the future. I guess he never truly loved me if he can't even get past an honest confession. I honestly don't think Oop has a clue what genuine love is. If the genders were flipped and my best friend was in this situation, I would tell her to do exactly what husband did. Tell spouse it's fine, that they need time to process and space, that everything is okay. And then GTFO of there and immediately tell all of my family and close friends and circle the wagons. Just a wild story and situation. Hope it's just a troll. Yeah, I wouldn't feel okay if I found out the person I loved and married stalked me for years before we met. I technically met my husband before we met. I moved into a new building where he lived with his then girlfriend. I remember vividly seeing him come out of the building as I was about to go in. Hot damn. He was so dreamy. Just something about him was But I left it alone because he has a girl and I had my own life. Fast forward a few months and a friend of mine was trying to get to my apartment and rang his bell. Lo and behold, they know each other. And meeting through her was how I officially met him. 15 years later. He's even dreamier. Edit. I have brought up meeting him before meeting him and the time I laid eyes on him. He doesn't remember as it was nothing special. Just two people passing. But I guess it was love at first sight for me. This lady is crazy. And the fact that she doesn't even realize how absolutely creepy she was is what makes it worse. Of course he lied to her face about not wanting a divorce. She just confessed to being obsessed with him and stalking him for years. Ugh. Nice plot. Looking forward to the movie adaptation. I might update this in a few years when I find a new husband lol. Oop is truly insane. And I want the sequel to her next husband. This post is coincidentally timed with me seeing a post of Taylor Lautner's wife. He was Jacob from Twilight movies. In the pics she is a middle schooler wearing a Twilight t-shirt. And I guess she was friends with his little sister and got introduced? Anyway, the pics make it look like she executed on her tween multi-year master plan. Lol. Joe Goldberg is afraid of this lady. LMAOWTF even is this? In some weird way, I kinda admire her. She really set a goal. Planned and executed ruthlessly on that plan. Of course she's totally delusional and I'm glad I'm not her husband. There was no way this was going to end well. What a selfish person she is. I was shocked reading through this and then realized it makes zero sense. He knew her brother but somehow never knew her or even knew she existed. She miraculously had time to apply to colleges and get accepted after he got a new job, but then somehow she left for college at the same time he moved for work. I got my acceptance letters in the spring and started classes like 6 months later. Most jobs won't wait 6+ months for a new entry-level worker to start. And so many details about exactly how long he cried or sat in silence.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.